getting set up for siding. Now this is a beautiful job site, peaceful. So we're on a job where we're doing some windows and siding. Today we will finish some of the window work, actually probably most of it, and get a lot of the siding started. We'll be tearing off siding as we go here. Already found a lot of rot just in the beginning. I mean, we started tearing this out to do the window, and the whole structure above this window on this little gable side here, the rafter is rotted out. Half of the double plate is rotted out. Little nailers are rotted out. So we're gonna have to fix that. And I expect, and the homeowner expects, we're gonna find a lot more rot on this job. After further inspection, there's a lot more rot in this corner. We just removed all the rotted plywood, which is like flaking off on the ground. Look at this. Just pulled this window out. Massive amount of carpenter ants. They're starting to run away. Not good. And now we're gonna have to do something. We've got a rotted plate here, an active infestation. Look at that. Try to spray it just to kill a lot of these guys as we're working. They're getting everywhere. Yeah, we're gonna have to open that up. Well underway here. You can see behind me, and I just showed, got a lot more rot over here on this section that we're gonna have to fix. But you know, I just want to say, for people who want to go over their existing siding, it's not a great idea in general. This siding, there was no hints that it was going to be rotted behind it. There was no hints there. But it's all rotted. We got 2x4s we got to replace, a bunch of plywood, roof rafter up here. You know, got an abandoned pipe in there, covered in some insulation. It's always fun. And it's just flaking off this stuff. This area is looking okay. So far, no rot. So far, no rot. I'll show you this. See where the roof meets the dormer? That's called a sidewall. And you see the metal there. That's called step flashing. And this had a roof put on it. But when the roof was put on it, the siding was still there. So the only water protection there is that little bit of metal. Now, for instance, if you were to build this, if you were to do a roof now, you would, instead of just having that metal, you'd have ice and water shield running up the side of that dormer to protect it. And so this gives us a good opportunity to add that ice and water shield protection. It's basically flashing, and then we'll do paper over that, and it'll be much more protected than it is. Yeah, so we're just about finishing up on day 2, coming along here, as you can see behind me. Check this out as we go. This is charcoal gray again. This is single 7 cedar boards, insulated siding. Look at that. Love it. with the white really pops. It's fantastic. And this one, as I showed you in some of the earlier video, definitely has a share of challenges that we're still dealing with. Found some more rot, stuff like that. So I'll show you some more as we go along. See, on this job, some of the windows, in fact most of them, are what we call inserts or pocket replacement that were installed from the outside in, and we leave the old frame because you know, maybe we didn't want to change all the trim, or I should say the customer didn't want to change all the trim. So these are treated a little differently with the siding than the new construction. For instance, here's in the front one of the new construction windows. We have our tape ready to receive the tie bar. See, this part has to be peeled afterwards and stuck to the tie bar. You see the nail flange here. So we're installing with a nail flange, then the tape, then your paper, then the siding, and then your aluminum trim over that. So it's very different than the pocket replacement window. Great handle choice on the door, antique brass sliding patio door. Love that. This door is a wood interior. It's a nice look for this room. I think this one was colonial cherry and really looks good with that handle. So we ripped above that stuff that we saw before, the carboner ants. Saved this for later in the day, and it's worse than we thought. There's ants all the way down the wall. And it's rotted all the way down. Have to replace some plywood, maybe 2x4s. Here we're just getting ready to put some trim on, putting it together out here for some of the windows. Stool with 3.5-inch casing and back band. We made a little change here. Called an audible today because you can see this little window in here. Look at this rot. So this was supposed to just be a replacement window, but we start to notice some things. Look at this. That's wood. You'd never know that unless you were doing siding and pulling the old stuff off. It looks like that's probably caused from the gap between the gutter and the chimney. Water flowing down there for years, rotting out the brick mold, rotting out all this. And then here, same thing, except it's coming off the roof line and rotting out in here. So we are now going to rip all this stucco off and fix all that. So we'll do the same siding we're going to be doing here. We'll do here instead of leaving the stucco. And that'll actually be pretty cool to have the siding on either side of the chimney, I think. That's going to turn out nice. We did here is replace the 2x4 and a strip of plywood so we can get this window in at the end of the day here today. And we leave this ready to receive the tie back after we fix the rest of this. So we're going to cover this up temporarily till Monday. But see, I want to show, if you had that tape originally and the window rotted like it did, it would have never rotted the house. That's why it's so important to do stuff like that now. That tape is crucial, that sill tape. It would protect, then go over the paper, which eventually would go over any flashing at the bottom and drip out and not rot anything out. We got some siding up, day 2. Charcoal gray, Certainteed CedarBoards. Looking nice. Yeah, looking good. We got the aluminum going on, and then the paper will go over the aluminum. Louise is fixing that now. See, this window design with the 2 vertical grids, homeowner chose that after much debate, and I think it looks good. I really think it looks good. This window was going to be a slider, but I suggested doing a twin double hung just for aesthetics and to kind of match, you know, the rest of the windows. we put a slider here, it's going to look very different. Just want to go over some quick terminology that we put in our quotes that that if you're not a siding person, maybe you don't know them. It's good to know. What you're looking at behind me is a window with window trim. Okay. Now, this is 3.5 wide aluminum window trim, and it's called picture frame because it doesn't have a sill, right? 4 miters. Same thing with interior trim. We call that a picture frame. Now this is an outside corner, obviously. Okay, put your corners on before you can put your siding on. And then up here we have a rake. That's called a rake. A rake is just trim along an angled roof. Call that rake. And while we're at it, this side of a house is called a gable side. When you have that type of roof line, that's called a gable. So for instance there, we started the rake, but we got some rot to replace, so we didn't finish it yet. Now this area that's straight along the edge of the roof, this is a fascia. This is called a fascia. Fascia. And that would be called a soffit. So the fascia is on the outside, and the underneath part is called the soffit, or overhang, or eave. And you can see the rake going up there. Yeah, well, we're in the home stretch now, after dealing with that hurricane that came through, and then power outage for 3 days. We still managed to keep going, and probably going to finish up most of it today, most of this job today, and then some punch list items on Monday. Show you where we're at. The front of the house, leaving the stucco there, put some black aluminum trim and white around the windows. More rot. So this is that. We were concerned we saw a little bit of rot, so we said let's just take off all the stucco and put siding here, and it's more than a little bit of rot. As you can see here against the chimney flashing, that's what we got. I shouldn't say against the chimney flashing, against the chimney. It really is no flashing. Look at that. And then all the way down. And then on this side, this was coming down off the roof here. Completely rotted. All about flashing. So we'll repair all this stuff, put siding on it, and of course, new flashing. This is the rest of the front. Go to the side. Now, earlier in the video, this was the first side that we started with, that we were ripping down. Charcoal gray. This is nice. I like this color. Very popular these days. This was where the ants were. Again, all new windows here too. That door didn't get changed. Especially that and the front door, I think, are the only things we didn't change. All new soffits up top. See that air conditioner that was in the wall up there. That's a goner. You know, this homeowner, she's great, and she invited us to come back anytime we want and fish here and kayak. Got the dock over there, but she says you got to bring your own kayak. She doesn't have one. There's the other bump out. And I see that's not finished up there because when we discovered rot, you saw earlier, we had to wait to get the roofers in here, bring my roofing crew in and change out some of the plywood. And then because we weren't sure what was really going on, and we don't like patching things, we just ripped the whole roof off and put a new roof on. New plywood on that side and all new framing over there. So we bypassed this area for siding until this was all done. So this is all fresh and new now, fixed. Now we'll redo the paper and come in here inside it. More rot that was replaced. You know, I can't emphasize enough about when you're doing a siding job, you've got to inspect, you've got to take the old siding off and look at everything and not just rush through it and clad everything over, you know, just hiding problems. Now the customer is going to paint the stucco. You can see some test colors, and that's going to look good. I think gray is going to look really nice for that. You know, that's the wall where it did all the wood repair. New storm door here. We added some copper in the roof, even though we didn't do the main roof. She had a lot of algae, so we put some copper in for her. Over here is the front of the house. Looking good. Nice design. 3.5 inch window trim. New 6-inch gutters with heavy duty leaders. Of course, everything's all new wrapped. Aluminum up there, all new. Here's the side where all the electric is happening. I mean, there's a lot going on here. New HVAC. In fact, she bought a Tesla, so this is going to have a charging station too. Another beautiful day on the lake here. Back of the house with all these little areas. So much going on in this one, especially with all the rot. This is where the ants were. There's rot here. Had to remove the air conditioner, close that area in over there. Back porch area and the dormer above it. So this whole roof up there, that was all redone because we found too much rot. Didn't want to risk anything. Looks good. Big patio door, all new sliding windows. Again, new gutters. This is the corner that was completely rotted. I mean, really bad. Really bad. Electricians here again actually do some more work for that Tesla charging unit, but got all these pipes that we were dealing with. We worked together. That worked out well because this area had some rot. All new aluminum wrap in black. She's going to paint that gray, the stucco. That'll look good. It'll look really good. And that's the last corner. Customer has a landscaper and a painter coming in to finish up the job. And I hear one of my trucks now probably coming to just hit a couple punch list items. Sounds like my truck. Let's see. Yep. This was a great job with a great homeowner. What a great person she is. I have to say, great person. Well, there you have it from Mountain Lakes.